Hey YouTube, how's it going? It is Triarius Wargaming back again here in the hobby dungeon here in the hobby dungeon. So I wanted to fill you in on the projects we got coming up here on the channel. Um, so I did put on my convention game on this past weekend. What I will do is I've got a rundown for you that's going to be another video where I'm going to I didn't really get the opportunity to take video because I was too busy running the game. But I'm going to give you an overview of kind of my summer campaigning season, the games I played this summer, as well as this game, and fill you in on what went down with that. I think it was a success. I got most of what I needed to done. Next time I do a convention game, I'll do things a little differently with the setup, but in some of those details. Overall, I think it was a big success, and we got a couple converts over to the system, so over to the historical. So that's a good thing. And yeah, I'm excited to come back to some more conventions in the future and put out more games and GM some more games. I actually had a really good time, and that's in the back of my mind that I want to next year check out more conventions that are within a reasonable driving distance of myself and put on more games. So that's going to take a little research on my part, but I'm excited to do that anyways. So I'll show you what. So yeah, that video is coming soon. I mean, I've pretty much edited it together. I just need to do some more voiceover stuff. My summer campaigning season, I had some great games this summer, and I'm excited to tell you about them, as well as this convention game, which I'm excited to tell you about. But moving on, I'll show you what's on my desk, what's stacked up on my other table that I've hijacked, and kind of fill you in on the plans for the next couple months. So yeah, now that the kind of summer campaigning season has ended, it is kind of build time. So the snow is coming, winter is coming. Most of my viewership, I think, is in England. Yeah, you just don't get the weather, the weather we get up here, and I'd say that from a position of jealousy, I guess, maybe. But over here in my state, the snow is coming soon, and once you get to really December, it's too cold to really prime anything outside, or you're taking a risk that it's not going to go too well. Yeah, it gets really, really cold. Really cold. 3 feet of snow on the ground. Think Norway. That's kind of the weather we get here. It's like Norway, or Sweden or whatever up north. It's cold. It's really cold. So basically, I really got a window of a couple weeks to get my next 6 months of projects primed and assembled and ready to paint. So that's really what I'm shifting to right now. The next few weeks is to get all my projects that I want to do this winter assembled and primed. So we'll go to the desk here and I'll show you what I've been working on. What's up next? Okay, so we're here looking at the desk now, and yeah, my girlfriend was making fun of me that I got these paint racks finally, and now I don't use them. I just have all the paint on my desk like a total slob. And yeah, you know what? I am kind of a slob, but I'll take you through what I got here. So in the back, I've been kind of priming these off and on. Those are some of my British colonial forces for French and Indian War. There's a mix of militia provincially types and Highlanders. I know I kind of dropped the French and Indian War stuff on the channel. I was supposed to paint them up this summer and I just didn't. So mea culpa on that, but I needed to take a break and just enjoy the outside over the summer. So we got some French guys primed there, mix of Marines and regulars. The regulars are going to be for the Languedoc Regiment. I'm doing the Fort Ticonderoga campaigns. The Languedoc Regiment was a recently arrived French regiment there. So on the table here, we've got the project that I want to do immediately, which is A small one. This is about half the forces involved, and this is the Scots versus the British. So here we have got the pike. We've got the Scots mostly assembled. They are going to have some mercenary crossbowmen, which I have yet to do. So yeah, in the back there we've got some. I think those are Islemen with the double-handed axes, or maybe they were gallows glass. I can't quite. I think the gallows glass originated from the Scottish Isles. I can't quite remember, but I think those are Islemen with double-handed axes, and this is for like the Wars of Robert the Bruce. Then we've got one set of 12 pikemen here. Your kind of regular pikes. We've got some bowmen, who are Islemen bowmen or Highland bowmen as well. Some more of the pikes ready to go. These are a mix of Claymore Castings as well as antediluvian miniatures, which are really awesome, kind of an underappreciated company. So these are going to be for Lion Rampant. So here we have the foot knights, the heavy duty boys in armor here. And yeah, a couple more figures. I ran out of the sticks when I was doing these, so some of these ended up on bases. What I'm going to end up doing is there's a system of basing called 3-2-1 basing, which involves multi-basing on round bases. So for every 6 guys, you'll have 3 on one large round base, 2 on a slightly smaller round base, and then an individual figure on like a 25 mil base. These are actually 30 mil bases. These figures are very dynamic and very large. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is like a 2-2-1-1 basing system. So since this guy was kind of like a leader, he got a big base all to himself, but I'd probably, aim to put 2 figures on a base like this because they're so dynamic. And then 1 figure on a 25 or 30 mil. This is a 40 mil base, I think. So that's kind of the idea behind that. I also have some casualties, which I'll mix in to liven things up. So for the English, so I'll hold off the phone on that figure for a second. So we got a lot of Claymore Castings, and these are what I want to get done tonight. They should be less work than the Scots because I don't have to do all the drilling out of the hands for the pikes that I did for the Scots. So I don't have to do that for the English. A lot less drilling. But they're going to have a lot of bowmen and billmen, but they're also going to have some knights. So this is a Perry Agincourt knight. So the Wars of the Bruce, Robert the Bruce, I believe, were around 1315 or so. These Agincourt knights are dated to 1415. So the Scott, I'm going to try and meet in the middle there. I think on the Perry box, you can push these back to about 1370. So maybe we can push the Scots forward 50 years as well, and maybe I think the Battle of Otterburn, another conflict between the Scots and the English, was around the 1380s or so. Don't quote me on that. So maybe Otterburn rather than Bannockburn is what we should be going for. I think these generic infantry pikemen, I think older styles of equipment would still have been used, and I don't think the fashion changed considerably in that period. I think those heavy, large jack coats, quilted coats, would still be in style. They would just have what they could get if they were the poor infantry. The knights, I think, are what date this a little bit more. These are wearing kind of like half plate armor. They're mostly in mail, but they do have some elements of plate armor, and that varies figure to figure. They also have kind of, and this is really not, it doesn't want to focus. There we go. So you can see, and this figure actually is relatively little plate armor compared to some, but you can see some elements of the plate armor starting. kind of an early form of bassinet helmet as well. This guy, yeah, is basically he's got some, again, some partial plate armor on the arms. So they're mostly in mail with some partial plate, whereas the Agincourt Knights are fully suited in plate. So there is that kind of matchup. I was also debating doing using my Baron's War figures, which I really do want to get painted up soon. Using the Baron Wars cavalry for this period, but they're about 100 years too early rather than 102 years late like these are. And I think the equipment for the knights just looked too early. For the the lower class troops, it's not as big as a problem, because they would have been passing down this equipment. I think that's reasonable. For the knights, they should really be in the cutting edge gear. So maybe this is like a 1370s project rather than a 1315 or a 1415 project. So this knight was kind of my test assemble. I really like these Perry Agincourt Knights. That's actually a really nice set, and the rider is excellently proportioned. This guy is going to be on a base like this with the casualty figure. These other ones are going to get mixed in with the infantry. This one is with the Scots. This one is going to go. Actually, this one might end up on an English base, getting executed. This guy will be like defended by his brother in arms. He's kind of like fallen on the battlefield, but they're defending him. Guy getting shot by an arrow. This one I'm kind of tempted to also put on an English base, with the English executing him or something, killing him in combat, giving him the coup de grace or coup de grace or whatever. This one I know is going to be with this figure, and this is going to be like the leader of the English, riding by, like giving a cut. My idea is he's come by and just given this guy a slash across the back and cut him down as he was running away. So I think that'll actually look pretty cool. It'll look kind of brutal, I think, but it'll be good. This one, I'm tempted either way. Mix him with the Scots to, I like mixing casualties in. I think it looks good. I'm not sure whether I want to mix them with the Scots or have them be, being finished off by some English troops. So that's what's on this desk. I'm just about to start priming some of these. The more heavily armored figures will be primed in gray. The more lightly armed figures in like khaki or a very light brownish white color. And that's because so many are wearing these, the padded jackets. You just kind of want to get that color. It saves time just having them already base coated in that color anyways. So I'm going to take you to my other table, show off some other stuff. I'm going to be building like crazy. Next, I'm going to do my English tonight, get them built up. I'm going to prime some of these tonight as well. And then I'm going to work on getting, Romans put together, Crusade stuff getting put together. But let me take you to the other desk, and that'll be in one second. Here we are at the other table where I'm kind of staging stuff. So this is more French and Indian War stuff to get primed. So these are all French. They're almost entirely French Marines for the French and Indian War, although they also work as French regulars as well, because for once the French regulars got acclimatized to the North American continent, they pretty quickly ditched the formal European uniforms and kind of went with a more native style. So these are technically sold as French Marines, but I think they would also work fine as French infantry as well, who have just been accustomed to fighting on the continent. So that's the kind of horde of French. And then we have the British. So these are supposed to be British infantry, but in cut down hats and coats, which is appropriate for the Ticonderoga campaign. So I just talked about how the French adopted more of a native style, as their regiments so like the Languedoc Regiment is the one I'm doing for my regulars. They were pretty fresh over from France for the for Ticonderoga, but they get, you know, as they stay longer, they get more seasoned up. The same was with the Americans. I mean, for the British. So for the Ticonderoga campaign, because of the dense wilderness, just like in the Saratoga campaign of the Revolutionary War, or the American War of Independence, they cut down the hats and the uniforms. So you know, these battles were fought in pretty much the same area as the Saratoga campaign. There's a reason why they adopted the cut down hats and coats, because of the difficult terrain. So I'm doing the 54th Regiment, which was Gage's regiment, not Gage's regiment, Lord Howe's regiment. Lord Howe, he was a friend of Roger's Rangers. He was a friend of Roger's Rangers. He was killed in a skirmish, but he had his men cut their hair, cut down their coats, cut down their hats. He was the first British officer to do that. Over here are the Grenadiers. I got these because they just look so cool. And actually, during the campaign, they did retain their Grenadier miters. And, you know, the hats, they didn't cut those down or anything, to kind of demonstrate their status. Okay, so then we've got our 12 Roman Cavalry. I'm going to get these primed up as well. So, yep, bolstering the cavalry. These are Aventine figures. I've really grown to really love the Aventine cavalry. I really like them a lot, actually. They're really sweet. I'm excited to get those done. So I got one more thing to show you here. I know this has been a rambolic video, but I was just picking up some random stuff at the store, and I bought like $50 worth of moss, and I just saw this stuff. I was picking up more of these popsicle sticks, and I saw this moss in the store as I was walking through, and I couldn't help myself but buy all this different moss. I just, like, am I a lunatic? I don't know. I felt like very embarrassed, I'll admit, buying all this moss. Like, you know, I don't know what the clerk thought of me, but whatever. I think this stuff will be really good for terrain. I want to do some more terrain. This was kind of speaking to me. I think this will work really well as like hedges and bushes and moorland. I want to up the terrain game and add some features like bushes, more hedges. And I thought this looked perfect as I was walking through the store for that. I also got a glue gun and stuff. But that's it for me. I'll have some actual cool footage of, you know, not footage, but pictures of some of the games I've done over the summer. I think most of them look pretty damn good, actually, if I say so myself. But I'll give you a break here. I'll let you take off, and see you in the next one.